Well, a win is a win. And honestly, with the way that Saturday was going, it was just great to see Michigan leave Maryland with the W. But on top of that, congratulations, Wolverines, on the 1,000th win for the program. It was stressful at times, but you took home the win, and great job for an historic moment for the program. Honestly, there were some similarities between this game and last year's Illinois game, considering that last year your star running back goes down. This year, your star receiver goes down. It was a tight game. It was an ugly game, but Michigan still won. And Michigan was able to get the job done the following week. So, not the ideal situation, but still the outcome was favorable. There were certainly some things that you could see that Michigan could get better on. Again, same thing happened last year, and they rebounded just fine. But JJ was not on top of his game. Some of the receivers seemed off. The defense allowed Maryland to go up and down the field several times, but there were some awesome plays. I don't have a favorite play this week, but I do have who I want to mention as an MVP. This is my own MVP because of how well they performed. And that was Mike Sanderson. His two interceptions on the day were huge. Say what you want to about all the other plays, great plays, good job on converting fourth downs and some great tight passes in different places. But those two interceptions, I felt, were huge momentum changers because, as we talked about already, Maryland was going up and down the field. The defense was doing great at times, but also showed its struggles. And so for those two interceptions by Mike Sanderson to change the momentum and to gut punch Maryland and help keep Michigan ahead were huge in my opinion. So Mike Sanderson, MVP for the day. There were several things that we talked about in the preview episode that were key elements for Michigan to work on to have the best opportunity to win this game. One of them was rushing yards for Maryland. Anytime Maryland does not exceed 119 rushing yards, they lose the game. Michigan defense did a fantastic job and held Maryland to 15 rushing yards. The other factor that was correct about the game was turnovers. So you have to think about, if Maryland didn't have 3 turnovers in the game, how different that game may have finished for Michigan. When Maryland struggles and has multiple turnovers, those are games that usually they fall behind and are not able to climb out of that hole to get the win. And that proved true again Saturday as Michigan was able to hold on late in the game. But JJ was off. The running game was not running at optimal speed, and it was just a funk of a game, which fortunately still ended up being a win for the Wolverines. Say what you want to. I know a lot of people are bashing Michigan for it, but honestly, if you look at the Illinois game last year, I don't really know what they're freaking out about or what they want to say about Michigan, because a very similar story and it turned out just fine. There's a lot to talk about for the upcoming game. Of course, I'm probably going to be doing a different kind of episode for that. But for this one, I do want to mention, like, JJ didn't have a good game. I don't know if I would necessarily call it a super bad game. His completion percentage was low. He threw an interception right after he almost threw an interception 1 or 2 plays before that. He threw another dangerous pass. Just very uncharacteristic for him, but a lot of elements going on right now. Not super concerned about it. I'm optimistic about Roman Wilson. It seemed like more of a precautionary thing, so I do believe that he will be back. The other thing, though, that I want to mention in that category is that out of the first 10 games for Michigan, 6 of those 10 games featured a Michigan player with more receiving yards than Roman Wilson. Now, granted, Roman Wilson has been the touchdown machine for the passing game, but even if for some reason he cannot play next week, he does have other players behind him that are capable of stepping up. They will just need to do it in huge moments like the upcoming game if he's not able to take the field. So all in all, another win for Sharon Moore as Harbaugh is serving his suspensions. Everybody wants to celebrate 1,000 wins, but also at the same time, there's an even bigger game coming up, and everybody knows, especially the team, especially the coaches. So we're excited for that. Thanksgiving's coming up this week. Everybody's going to be busy. I hope you get to have some time off and enjoy it with family or friends. But of course, the game, which is the game, we'll be talking about that. onward and upward. So from here, Michigan is still undefeated with everything ahead of them. I will catch you for an episode leading up to the OSU game. It's actually going to maybe be a little bit different than most, but I'm excited about it. So until then, as always, go blue.